Welcome to the PMS channel. Today we will be making Danish Christmas biscuits. It's all based about a base dough which is with these ingredients: butter, sugar, flour, eggs and vanilla. The flour can be replaced with gluten-free flour, that will work out fine, but don't use artificial sweeteners as they will not work properly with to make biscuits with. We're using the stand-up mixer and trying to rest our hands a little bit, but you can use your hands and mix it all together. Use the same order as we show in the video. First you take the flour, and it has to be plain flour, not self-raising. That will not work with biscuits. You mix it with the butter so it becomes kind of a crumble. The butter has to be room temperature soft, not melted, not fridge cold, room temperature. We notice that the butter is crawling up the mixing gadget, so we will have to scrape it down, but it actually works. Be aware if you use a stand-up mixer, don't take too much speed on, because if you get it too much work together, it will not work as well with biscuits. It has to be a little bit of a crumbly dough in the end. That's what gives you the crunch and the snap in the final product. So it started to come together, so we add the rest of the ingredients. I should say the full recipe will be in the end of the video. We continue to mix it together so it will become a crumbly dough in the end. And this will be the base dough for all 5 variations we are going to make today. That looks very, very nice. As always, when you mix it in a stand-up mixer, you need to just go through it with your hands so you can feel that the dough actually feels right as well. You get that with experience. You know when it feels right, it will be right. So we need everything out of the bowl. And then give it a little bit of a squeeze and roll. We part it in 5 pieces. They don't have to be the same size or anything. It depends on how you want to mix it, because if you want one of the variations to have more biscuits, then you make that bigger. That's really up to your own taste. A baker's best friend, cling film. It's always good to use to wrap up things, and what we have to do now is to roll them up, wrap them up, and cool them in the fridge. First we take those which will be decorated. There will be no additions to it. So we have planned to do that with 2 of the pieces of dough. The thing with biscuit dough is that you work best with it when it's cold. It's very difficult to work with when it's too hard. So the variation with dark chocolate and orange, we have to add the ingredients to the dough before we cool it down. And as you will notice, the dough actually kind of changed color with the things you put in it. This one will be a very dark dough. Where the base ones, which is only decorated, will be and maintain the lightness to it. But in the end, it's the taste which it comes down to. Make sure you mix the ingredients into the dough. That is rolled out as well and will be wrapped up. The longer you put it in the fridge, when you have things like orange in, the longer, the more the taste will come through. And as there's not much peel in, you will actually see that you can put it in the fridge for a day, and it will not spoil anything. It will just make it so much better in the taste, in the final product. The next one is white chocolate, and that's not a typical Danish biscuit. It's something we have adapted to our British friends. We had some requests, can you make this? And yes, you can. The only thing is we have learned that you need to buy some cooking chocolate which is a little bit better quality than the cheapest one, because that did not add much taste to the biscuits. The dough will still maintain a whiteness, but when baked they sometimes get a little bit darker than normal because of higher sugar contents. And the final variation, we have chosen to put coarse sugar and roll it in that, so it will only sit on the rim of the biscuit, not go into it. Coarse sugar, some people call it rock sugar, some again call it pearl sugar. That would be in Germany and Denmark. In Germany they also have a variation called Hagelzucker, which is just as good. So you roll the dough in the sugar and you wrap it up. So we cleaned up after ourselves, we have wrapped them up, and now they need to go in the fridge. Minimum is 2 hours, but the longer the better. It's not uncommon to put them in the fridge overnight, for instance. You prepare the dough in the evening, and then you chalk it into the fridge and bake them next day. So now we will prepare the biscuits. They have been in the fridge, and the dough is now easier to work with. One of the biscuits need egg wash because it's been decorated. It's to hold on the decoration so it sticks. At this point, it's a good idea to start with those which needs decoration. I will explain that in a while why, but at this point the plates are cold, so you won't burn yourself. you cut it out, and it doesn't have to be exactly the same because it's home-baked biscuits, so you don't mind them looking home-baked. If you create biscuits which all is the same size and exactly like they came out of a machine, people will actually think you bought them. But we have over time learned that a little bit of personal touch is not bad. So the first one, we just stick a whole hazelnut on each of them. You could choose to use hazelnut flakes instead, or any other nuts you would like, if there is anything. The good thing with these kind of biscuits is you can actually experiment and see what you like and what you don't like. As you noticed, we use baking paper. It is way easier. One plate is ready, it goes, it's not a plate, it's a tray. One tray is ready, it goes into the oven. The oven is heated up to 200 degrees Celsius. And the roughly time is 10 minutes for a plate. You can ask, why are you not putting them in at the same time? The thing is, we don't really use a timer to find out when they're done. We know when they look done. They need to be light brown, golden brown. Which you will see later when they come out again. But the rough time is 10 minutes. It might also depend on the oven type, because if you don't have a heat blowing oven, it might take a little bit longer. When you put the hazelnuts on, the dough might crack a little bit, but that should bake fine. Still, the next one which needs decoration is cut up. The good thing is the dough is the same, so the timing will be the same when you are baking it. These biscuits is a very traditional Danish type. They are called finsk brød, which literally means Finnish bread. Don't ask me why they got that name. But they need some egg wash, and another word of advice is when you put your biscuits on the tray, don't put them too close, because then they might grow together while baking. It's easier if you can separate them, and they need to cool a little bit. So the Finnish bread is given normal caster sugar and some flaked almonds. And into the oven it goes. So now it will actually be going as a conveyor belt. We have sped up the video a little bit here because it takes a little bit longer than it actually shows, but literally you take one tray out, you put the biscuit to cool a little bit, then on goes the next batch. Now the tray is hot, so you need to work a little bit fast, and that's where the one which need decoration gets a little bit tricky, but still it's doable. And be careful, you can burn yourself on a tray. The roughly time it takes to bake this batch of biscuits, it was done in an hour and a half working time, but there was waiting time for the dough to cool down. Another word of advice is the darker you get them, the more dry and crunchy they are, but it is a balance to find out what you prefer exactly. If you want them to be very crunchy, then you need them a little bit darker and more golden. If you like a little bit of a bite to them, then don't bake them too brown. Okay, then we take the next one. So now we need to clean up a little bit. Space is always essential when you are baking. You need to make sure you have enough. It's a little bit tricky when you're trying to video it to keep everything in the frame. Let us know in the comments how you find the camera on this one. Does it work as it should? Can you see whatever we intend you to see? Did you miss anything? Please let us know. And a good thing is, now I'm talking about that, if you like what you see, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and also, if you like the video, please like. And if you subscribe, then click the notification bell as well, then you will know when we have uploaded new things. One of the best things to preserve biscuits is, of course, a biscuit tin, steel one. Make sure they're cooled down a little bit. It's okay they are luke, but they should not be hot at this point. And if you notice the plate, we of course have to quality check our biscuits. Hazelnut and Finnish bread. What you will encounter is very often that it becomes like a conveyor belt, as I said earlier, where you put on the trays in a little bit of a there is a little bit of time in between, so when one is finished and go into the oven, the earlier one is almost ready to come out. But of course, look at the color of the biscuits. If they are still looking like dough, then they are not really ready yet. The good thing with baking paper is that you just take and remove the crumbs from earlier bakes from time to time, because otherwise they might burn and end up on the bottom of some of the biscuits, which doesn't taste very nice. But the paper itself can be used all the way to the end. So one go in, one comes out. And we have found out that those two trays we use for the biscuits actually kind of fit the cooling rack as well. And we need to remove the sugar from the carving board because we don't want the sugar from those rolled in sugar too big to come to the next one. We don't really want to mix the variations into hybrids. That's a little bit too many surprises, as you don't always know what you get out of that. These are the one with the white chocolate. They have to be monitored a little bit more in the oven because they very quickly goes very dark if it gets too much heat or too long heat. But as you can see, we actually managed to get them right. So they look like this before baked. So this is the one rolled in coarse sugar. It's a very basic biscuit, and it was very popular at Christmas time in Denmark in the old days. Now you might encounter them in those tins of Danish biscuits you buy, which is okay. The thing is, the big difference for us Danes is whether you bake with butter or margarine. In the mind of a Dane, you cannot cook with margarine or oil. You need to use butter. Good old-fashioned butter. Several Danish cooking programs has over time been very famously quoted for saying plenty of butter with everything, and it does go true with many things, but in modern Danish cooking there's not as much butter as there used to be. So we are getting to the end of the rolled out dough. You can see the one with the dark chocolate and orange is looking a little bit more dark than the other one, but it's of course expected because there is chocolate in it, and some of it will kind of become a chocolate flour which is mixed in with the base dough, so the whole biscuit will actually get a chocolatey taste. So this is how the dough looks when it's unbaked, and as I said, it's quite dark in it. When you put all your biscuits in the tin, don't start shaking it to mix them. That is not a good idea. It will cause some disasters. So the last batch goes in. Yeah, we forgot the plate. This is the white chocolate ones, and you can see the white chocolate actually gives a darker pattern in the dough. And as I said, they are not traditionally Danish Christmas biscuits. That is our own invention, but they work. As these biscuits are made with the same basic dough, that means you can add whatever taste you like. What we very often do is we make 4 that we know we like, or we know our guests like, if we have guests coming. And then number 5, we do some small experiments. Some works, some doesn't, but it's about trying out things sometimes. This dough could go with, for instance, you add, make a little dent in the dough and add a little bit of jam. We tried with raspberry and strawberry, and it's okay. It's not jammy Dodgers or something like that, but it's a refreshing biscuit. The only thing is the jam seems to be a little bit thin when they are still warm, but it stiffens up. But that's it. You can try your own experiments. Don't be afraid, as long as you use things which you know taste well. One suggestion is, if you try this out, then take one of the variations out and just bake the basic dough and taste how that tastes, and then you can kind of imagine what would go with this. Do I want nuts? Do I want sugar? Do I want chocolate? And then just try out a few and see how they work. You are your own master taster, and your family as well, so you could let them try. This is the chocolate orange ones. It's a little bit darker, but they taste very, very nice. If you experiment with something which you think works out, feel free to put a comment in the comments about that as well. It would be nice to know. Just remember, if you put something on top, it needs egg wash to keep it sitting there, otherwise it will just fall off when you put it in the tin. So from all of us, a very Merry Christmas to all of you, and have fun baking Danish Christmas biscuits. Thank you for watching our little culinary video. And if you have any problems with the recipe, let us know in the comments as well. All we have to see is how the master taster reacts.